Hi guys, Allie here from Tiny Home Tours. A quick intro before our video today. Maggie and Kenna from Queers in Transit on Instagram, who are featured in this tour today, lost almost everything in a fire shortly after we toured with them. If you're able or would like to help out, please see the link below to their GoFundMe. I'm sure they would really appreciate it.
We hadn't quite settled into how to live with each other in such a small space.
We wanted a space that felt like an office.
Pretty much everything in this bus that we could thrift, we did.
But we really fell in love with the people.
Hi, I'm Maggie, and this is my wife, Kenna.
And this is our 1986 Ford Econoline Shuttle bus, Ethel.
Welcome to our tiny kitchen in our tiny house. So we have about 10 feet of countertop space. We really wanted a large kitchen because we love to cook. We have these drawers here and our trash over there. We found these cabinets actually on OfferUp for 25 bucks a piece, which was a steal. This sink and faucet we also found on OfferUp. Pretty much everything in this bus that we could thrift, we did. We absolutely love our big kitchen. As you can see, we have our upper storage. We didn't want to put doors and have it closed off because we are both very visual people and we need to be able to see things to remember that they exist. So all of our dog bowls, some bowls, cups, tea, and extra storage are up here. And underneath here, we have a ton of tea that we've put up here because we drink tea about every day. Over here, we also have some open dry storage, and of course, I can't live without my wine, so there it is. So we absolutely love plants. You'll see quite a few in the bus as we do the tour. And we wanted to cover up, there was a seam back here, and we wanted to hide that seam somehow. So we found these foldable plant hangers on Amazon and grabbed some pots. And this is one of our favorite little details in the bus. We have about 60 gallons of fresh water under our bed, which works perfectly for us. We fill up the tank about every 10 days or so, sometimes 2 weeks if we're lucky. We have plenty of storage under here. This is all of our like cutlery, cooking supplies. This is pots and pans. And then in the bottom one here, we actually have like a juicer, a toaster, a mixer, and any other large appliances like that. So this is the rest of our kitchen over here. If you may have noticed over there, we didn't have anywhere for like food storage. So we built this pretty large pantry here with about 4 shelves. This is all of our dry food, some pet supplies, things like that. And then on this bottom part here, we built a couple of slide out drawers for cat and dog food, and then like cooking oils, things like that that don't need to be refrigerated. And on the bottom here, we have all of our plates, bowls, glassware, anything that's breakable. And we do have a lot of towels and things in there to keep everything from rattling around. But this has worked out really nicely for us. It's a lot of storage. We can go about 2 weeks without going to the grocery store off of the pantry and the fridge. Probably a little bit more if we didn't have such large cravings. Over here, we have our refrigerator. We actually had a larger one in this space, which is why this cabinet is bigger. Unfortunately, that fridge did die on us, so we went with a smaller one. We realized we didn't need that large of one, so this one takes a lot less power. We also have our rice cooker and our toaster oven up here, which we use almost every day. We also have, which is probably my favorite part of the entire build, is a small wine fridge that fits right under this little cutout here in the countertop. Right now, there's a couple bottles of wine in there, but mostly it holds like soda, juice, and extra drinks that we don't have room for in the fridge. So our bus, being a shuttle bus with a short front, has what's called a doghouse right here. So a lot of the engine actually comes into the livable space. So we wanted to utilize this area and kind of cover that up because it wasn't very pretty. So we found these little cabinets here that my parents actually had just laying around in their garage, cut them to size to make some extra storage for books and a couple of games. And then we just cut out this top piece here to fit on top to hold our plants so they get ample sunlight. And then we just have a little bit of storage for our phones while we're driving, and like cords, charging, things like that. Our glasses sit right there. And then up above the window, there was this metal piece right here from what we took out up here. So we decided just to build a shelf right on top of that. It seemed perfect, just for a couple more plants, books, just aesthetic to make it cozy in here.
What inspired us to live this life was probably when we were in Glacier National Park for Maggie's brother's 40th birthday, and we got to see Montana and that part of the world that we never would have seen before. And it really inspired us to go out and see more of the world that we wouldn't have the ability to see unless we did something like this. And before we had met, I had this idea, and after we got home from that trip,
somehow she convinced me to buy a bus. No, it's the best thing we've ever done.
Didn't take much.
We had 2 jobs in Phoenix that were keeping us there, and a home that we ended up selling so that we could travel. So we left those jobs and sold the house so that we could just be more free, work remotely, and just travel the whole country and hopefully the whole world eventually.
And we recently just bought some property in northern Arizona to start on a new dream of creating and crafting some tiny homes for Airbnb rentals, which is really great. The state that we wanted to live in, because now we're, within driving distance from our friends and our family that are in Phoenix, and so we can still go see them, and we'll have kind of a place that serves as a home base for whenever we are, overwhelmed or lonely from traveling. And so we're really glad that we have both options to live in this bus and now, work to create a new home.
So in the living space, we have our Thrifted couch, which actually does fold down into a full-size bed. Currently, we have the weighted blanket on top, which serves as a little bit of a cushion for us and for the dogs, because we do sit here when Maggie is driving or vice versa. And it worked out really perfectly because underneath we already had these baskets from our home in Phoenix. And so now they hold our electrical, our camping stuff, as well as our online gaming stuff as well. And for some extra storage, we have this desk from Amazon that holds all of our laptops, some chargers, and some journals as we both work remotely. So that serves as a great little desk space because we like options. And so this is just one of the spaces that we have to work. Behind the couch, we actually have double doors that we can open up for really nice airflow and serve as a way to get in and out of the bus if we needed to. We wallpapered it so that it wouldn't look so, wooden, and it serves as a really great piece of functionality. And we can actually have a lot of storage behind the couch here too. We can put things underneath the couch, so easy access like camping stuff, our table. And yeah, we really love it. It's one of the favorite pieces of the bus. This is our wood burning stove. We actually got it off of Etsy, and the piping we just got from Home Depot, and we were lucky to have Maggie's dad help us kind of put it all together. The fan sits right on top and is a great source of heat because our bus is a little bit smaller at 27 feet. It works really, really great for us. And we try to do as much thrifted things or as many used things as we already had in this bus. So we had this in our home in Phoenix, and we decided to take it with us in the bus, and it was perfect as we had this little angled wall here. So now we have this store wood and our games down here. And recently we found these. They're called bio blocks. They're compressed sawdust. And instead of having to mess around with wood so it stays ignited for, an hour or so, this actually burns really well on its own for like 3 to 7 hours, depending on how many you use. So that's been a huge, huge find for us. So this is another area that we have to use for a workspace. We wanted a space that felt like an office instead of just, sitting at the couch or having a desk in bed or having to go outside. So this was a really great addition, one of the last additions, actually. And so this was just a piece of wood that we found at Home Depot. And these metal piping we also found at Home Depot just screw in to the bottom so that we can take it apart and it just goes back there. And then this will lay down flat whenever we're not using it. we found this high chair. So since this is a little bit higher just below our countertop, we needed a chair that was a little bit higher, and we were super lucky. We just found this at Goodwill. So another really great thrifting find for us. And then underneath the desk where it folds down, we have a spice rack that I actually built just from wood from Home Depot again. Really cheap, really easy, and it stores all of our spices. And we even have, extra room if we wanted to get some more down in the future.
Living in a tiny space, we have about 160 square feet with another human and 3 animals, can be challenging at times. It took us some getting used to. So to start, we left in October, and we had gotten married on October 9th, and we hit the road on October 18th. So we had been married for 9 days. And then hit the road, and we started off strong and went on long distance drives. We made it to Texas in 2 days from Arizona, and we hadn't quite settled into how to live with each other in such a small space. So there were some arguments at the beginning. We got a little short with each other. It was hard to not blame each other for problems that weren't our fault. Mm-hmm. So like if something happened with the bus, like we got a flat tire, or it was making a funny noise and we didn't know what to do. We had a problem with our brakes when we got to Texas. It was difficult not to put blame on the person that was driving, even though it had nothing to do with them, because we were stressed out. It's a big vehicle, it's loud, the animals didn't like it at first. So it was just like a lot of high tension at the beginning. And it took us probably about 2 months or so of traveling to kind of realize, like, okay, we only like to travel 4 hours or less in a day, like 4 hours maximum, generally like 2. We want to make sure we have certain things done and put away, work done before we hit the road. Like we've realized now, like, what kind of things work for us and what don't, which you can talk about it. Like the next 2 months were so much better than the first two.
So much better. I mean, once we really kind of like got the hang of, we had been living together for, a year and a half or so, but really like when you take all of your things and you condense them into a new space, especially with us whose brains function completely different. I'm very type A and she's very relaxed and grounded. We have to constantly communicate and be able and willing to, respond to the other's communication style. So we found little ways for us to ensure that our own needs were being met while also meeting her needs as well, in terms of, where things go. If I put something away of hers, where does it go? How to make everything stay put instead of falling all over the place. That was interesting.
How to figure out how to have like alone time in such a small space.
Right, and
wearing soundproof headphones a lot.
Soundproof headphones. And communicating to be on the same schedule, even though you're 2 different people, you're essentially living the same life. So you're together all the time. So lately we've been really emphasizing that alone time, separation time, so that she can still feel fulfilled in what she wants to do, and I can do the same with what I want to do.
So this is our bedroom. We have this shelf right here. We like open shelving, makes things easier to see. So we had this shelf in our old house, and we kind of just made these wooden dowels that serve as that barrier so everything stays in place. These baskets hold our essential oils, our jewelry, crystals, and then we have some books and whatnot back here. And so when we're driving, everything kind of sticks in place. And basket of hats and whatnot over here. For a little more hominess, we have a hanging plant and a mirror so we can get ready in the morning. Back here, we can see what we look like since we don't have a full-size mirror. Over here on the wall that separates our bedroom from the bathroom, we have our national parks poster where it's a scratch off. So every time we go to a national park, we get to scratch off that one and it becomes beautiful and colorful. We have these 2 hexagon shelves that serve for extra storage that hold things like that we need easy access to, chargers, journals when we are sleeping. Yeah, we also have the door in the back. So in case things we don't get a breeze enough, even though we have this little window here, sometimes we like a little more, we can open up the back door, swing it open, and have a full breeze in here, which makes it really nice because this tapestry can just pull off to the side and we'll have a nice airflow in through the back. And then behind the bed over to the right, behind our bathroom, we have our washer. It's small washer, but it gets the job done. And we have our clothesline that we can hang up outside. That way we can do laundry whenever we are boondocking.
So on the outside of beautiful Ethel here, we built these little stairs here that fold down just like that and pop right back up because we have a cat and we want him to have his freedom. So at nighttime during the day when we're places where it's safe for him to be outside, he jumps out of this top window, climbs down, and then he can jump right back up and get back inside. We also have these awnings up here above our windows, which end up looking really cute, but they're actually a little bit more functional. We had to flip our windows upside down because the opening is all the way up here, and had it been down here, it would have been hidden behind our bed, behind our countertops. So we flipped all of our windows upside down, but now they catch water, so they're not supposed to be upside down. So we'll build these awnings to make it waterproof so that the water rolls right off and falls down out here. But a plus side of that is that we can have our awnings out when it is raining and have our windows open. We can get some shade from the sun when it's really hot during midday, and we just think they look really cool. So our bus runs completely off of solar power. So we have 2 large panels on the roof up there with 735 watts, which is plenty for what we need. We only have 2 AGM batteries currently, which only gives us 100 amp hours. So we are going to upgrade that in the future. But for right now, that lets us use our electric burner, our fridge is plugged in all the time, and our toaster oven, as long as we use them during the day and then like just into the evening. At nighttime, we do run out of power if we try to use the toaster oven. It takes too much power. But other than that, it works perfectly for us.
When we were in Ohio for Thanksgiving, we saw a piece of property in Eureka Springs, Arkansas that we wanted to go take a look at because as I had this dream and wanted to do this life, she also had the dream of building tiny home rentals. And so in Arkansas, that was a really not diverse community. It was a really like LGBTQ friendly community that we had wanted to go see. And we really liked the land. We liked the area. So we made that trek all the way there. But we really fell in love with the people, with the community. I think they kind of filled a void in our heart since we had left so abruptly. We were missing our friends and family that we hadn't seen in months.
We were there for Christmas.
We were there for
ourselves.
Christmas and a New Year's. So I think it was then that we kind of decided that we wanted to start looking for some place to call our own on a piece of land again.
Yeah, kept looking every day. We were looking like statewide. We really didn't care where the land was as long as it made sense. We had this huge dream at first that we wanted 10 acres and we wanted to have buses be able to park there, tiny homes, campground, and we were like, okay, in our budget, this is not feasible, so we need to re-evaluate the dream. Yeah. So we decided to look for a smaller property to just focus on one of those items at a time. And we got really lucky. I popped on Zillow one day and a listing came up for sale by owner in the area in Arizona that we really liked. I reached out to the owner and they were like, yeah, go park on the property, stay as long as you want, feel it out, and let us know what you think. And we fell in love with it. But yeah, we looked pretty much all day, every day for about 6 or 7 months to find the right property. And it's still not the right property for everything, but it's perfect for what we're going to do.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to continue following us on our journey, you can find us on Instagram at @QueersInTransit with an _ and follow our new tiny home rentals at Growing Wilder AZ.
We'll see you at one of our rentals in the future.